Hello and welcome back to 10-minute English lessons with Alex K. Today is episode number 23. Today's video, we are going to talk about one of my favorite grammar points, comparatives. Comparatives are very important in the English language. We use them every day, all day long. I promise by the end of the video today, you will know what a comparative is and how to use it in a sentence. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. That way you get all of the new videos as soon as they come out. Okay, without any further ado, let's get over to the classroom and start today's lesson. Okay, let's get started with today's video. What are comparatives? However, before we start learning about comparatives, it's really important to know what are adjectives. And if you don't know what an adjective is, please check out this video we made, What are adjectives? It will really make today's video a lot easier. However, if you don't have time to go back and watch that video, What are adjectives? Basically, adjectives describe nouns. For example, big or small or fast or slow or delicious or beautiful. These are all adjectives and they describe a noun. For example, big house, small house, fast car, slow car, or maybe even blue house or red car. These are all adjectives. Adjectives are very important when using comparatives. Because adjectives and comparatives, they go hand in hand. These two grammar points work together. Okay, now that we understand adjectives, let's talk about comparatives. So basically, comparatives, you take one adjective and you compare two nouns. I will give you some examples. So let's take a look at the adjective large. So we have the one adjective. Now we need to compare two nouns. So let's take a noun, maybe elephant and dog. So we're going to compare the size of an elephant and a dog. So we can make a sentence like, the elephant is larger than the dog. So that adjective large is comparing the two animals. I know this sounds a little confusing, but I promise by the end of this video, you will definitely understand. So here, that adjective large is comparing the two nouns. The elephant is larger than the dog. I know a lot of you must be thinking to yourself, okay, Alex, the only thing you did was took that adjective and added ER at the end or R at the end. So is that what a comparative is? That is correct. Sometimes. I will explain. So comparatives, what you're doing is taking an adjective and you're changing the adjective just a little bit to compare two nouns. For example, the elephant is larger than the dog. So as you see, large, we just changed to larger. Now there are three important steps to remember when changing the adjective. So step number one, if the adjective has one syllable or sound, the end of that adjective must end in ER. For example, large becomes larger because large has one syllable or one sound. So if an adjective has one syllable or one sound, that adjective must end in ER. The elephant is larger than the dog. Step number two, if the adjective ends with the Y, you take away the Y and add IER. Now this one, it does not matter if it's one syllable or two syllable or 5 syllable or 10 syllable. It doesn't matter how many syllables or how many sounds. If the adjective ends in a Y, you take away the Y and add IER. For example, happy. When you're comparing two nouns, you have to take away that Y and add IER. For example, Debbie is happier than Stephen. Okay? So I took that Y away and added IER. So again, if the adjective ends in a Y, it does not matter. 1 syllable, 2 syllable, 5 syllable, 10 syllables. It does not matter. If it ends in a Y, take away the Y and add IER. Are you still with me? Okay, the last and final step. Step number 3. If the adjective has 2 or more syllables and does not end in a Y, you must add more before the adjective. Let me say that again. So if the adjective is 2 syllables, 3 syllables, 5 syllables, 10 syllables, it doesn't matter. If it is more than 2 syllables and does not end in a Y, you must put more before the adjective. And an example of this would be the adjective delicious. How many syllables does delicious have? Let's count that out. So delicious. There are 3 syllables or 3 sounds for delicious. So with this adjective, you must put more in front of delicious, and delicious does not change. Delicious stays the same. More delicious. Let's take a look at an example. Pizza is more delicious than fried chicken. So you see here, the adjective delicious, it does not change. You just put more in front. So if it's 2 syllables, or 3 syllables, or 5, or 10, or 20, or 100 syllables, it does not matter. If it's more than 2 syllables and does not end in a Y, you put more in front, and that adjective does not change. How are you guys doing? Okay, so those are the 3 steps to using comparatives. Now, of course, if you've been studying English for any length of time, you know there are always exceptions to the rules. For example, if you look at the adjective good, it does not become gooder. For example, fried chicken is gooder than pizza. That does not work. Actually, I think gooder is the name of a beer. I've seen that somewhere before. But for this comparatives, it is not, good does not become gooder. Good becomes better. So example, fried chicken is better than pizza. Let's take a look at the adjective bad. Now, bad, when you use it as a comparative, does not become badder. It becomes worse. For example, milk is worse than vegetable juice. Again, there are a lot of exceptions to these rules. Another exception is little. Little does not become littler. Little becomes less. For example, there are less people in Hawaii than Japan. So in the English language, of course, there will always be exceptions to the rules, but for the most part, if an adjective ends in 1 syllable, you add ER. If an adjective ends in a Y, you take away the Y and add IER. If the adjective is 2 syllables or more, you put more and that adjective stays the same. More delicious, more beautiful, more exciting. You just add more and the adjective stays the same. Okay guys, now that I think you understand the rules, let's do some examples. Okay, let's take a look at some examples here. There are 2 homes here. You have Tom's home and Michael's home. I can say something like, Tom's home is larger than Michael's home. Or I can say, Michael's home is cheaper than Tom's home. Now that you fully understand comparatives, there is one last point that I must leave you with that is really important. You must use than when comparing 2 things. For example, car A is faster than car B. Car B is more affordable than car A. Car B is easier to drive than car A. when you're comparing two things, it's really, 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 really important that you use than, because you're comparing the two things. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. And like always, if you do have any questions about the grammar point today, make sure you leave it in the comment section below. And if there is a grammar point that you want me to explain more about, please let me know. Or if there's a grammar point that you want me to make a video about, please let me know in the comment section below. And until the next time, aloha.